Hello and welcome back to Table Talk. Yep, it's the last Table Talk of August, but we're back. Hello and welcome to Model Kit Stuff. My name is Jason and this is Table Talk. It's our weekly slot where we talk about what's been going on, what's happening on the bench, what the plans are, what's coming up, all of that sort of stuff. Now, I haven't done a Table Talk for a couple of weeks because I've been busy doing holiday stuff. So, yeah, I've had 2 weeks off work for the first time in over 10 years. Usually I break my year up with a week off every sort of 3 months or so, and then 1 or 2 days here and there for things that I need to do, school plays and that sort of stuff. But this year I chose to have 2 weeks off this August, and I've really felt the difference. So it's something I'm going to have to think about doing again, because I don't usually get that break, and I'm just getting into that relax, and then I've got to think about getting back to work, and that's not happened this time. So it's been lovely, and I've fallen lucky because it's the bank holiday at the end of my 2 weeks off. So I get that extra day, and I had the Friday off before the 2 weeks off because we were going away, so I had an extra day there. So you include the weekends, I've had a run of 18 days without having to think about work and the needs of work, and that has been lovely, really has. So I've had a couple of weeks off. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. If you are one of my new subscribers, hello, welcome to the channel. Thank you very much for hitting the subscribe button. You're probably worth hitting the bell so you get notifications. I have a wide variety of stuff that comes out every week, so there's plenty of stuff coming, and you may just miss something that you want to watch if you don't hit that notifications bell. So if you've not watched a Table Talk video before, how they work is I record them on a Friday, usually in my lunch break, and then I edit them on a Friday evening, and then it goes out on a Saturday. This week is slightly different. I'm still on holiday as I record this, and on Friday I've got things that I want to be doing, need to be doing. So I'm recording this on the Thursday, and it'll go out on the Saturday as normal. Now, because I've been away for a couple of weeks, I haven't had any build videos going out either. So they usually go out on a Friday night. But this week we had one out, which was Go to 11. But as I record this, with it being a Thursday, that hasn't gone out yet. So currently I'm in a position where I have 4 weeks of weekly videos edited and loaded up, and 3 weeks of build videos edited and loaded up. I have not been in that position for ages, so that's another positive out of being on holiday. So I've been away for 3 weekends. I've done different things, and that means I've been stuck in a hotel with nothing I can do. I've not been able to do any modelling at the weekends, so I've had pretty much 3 weekends off modelling. So I did a load of editing instead. So I tend to wake up a couple of hours at least before anyone else does. So with all that peace and quiet, I've got a load of editing done. So the channel's in a great place. What I need to do now is continue my doing my weekly editing, which keeps me 1 week ahead. On top of that, and I've got loads of wriggle room. So we've got 2 Go-Tos and a Queen Mary 2 currently uploaded on the channel. I just need to switch them off private and load them up when we're ready. So I'm in a great place as far as the channel's concerned, as well as where I am. Yeah, had a lovely couple of weeks. Talking about the channel being in a great place, whilst I've been on holiday for the last couple of weeks and we've not been putting out table talk videos, we've launched our merchandise shop. Yeah, so I have been asked by a number of people, periodically people will ask me a question about, merchandise and stuff. Well, I now have a merchandise shop. So what can you get in the shop? I've got t-shirts, I've got hoodies. So it's basically an online shop you buy into, and they have a range of products. I've got stickers for those of you that want stickers to put on your cutting mat or whatever. And I've got cups, and I think there's a travel mug in there, I seem to recall. And I've added a couple of things which are particularly helpful for modelers. That's a camping mug, so it's a tin enamelled mug. So in the workshop they're brilliant because if you drop them, you ain't breaking them, so they're really handy. And I've also added an apron which has a couple of pockets in, so great for protecting your everyday clothes when you're doing some modelling work. So I've chucked those in there. We put a little video out when we launched it because we had a 15% off offer. So there is offers in there at the moment. The 15% is about to come to an end, I think on the 28th of August. And then there'll be a buy two, get 20% off for a very short period, just while we're launching it, basically. So there you go. How do you access the shop? Beneath every one of my videos now, there will be a little banner which will depict a couple of 2, 3, 4 items depending on how you're watching my video, what device you're watching my video on. It formats itself differently, but you should be able to click on one of the images on that banner and it will take you to the shop. Then you can have a proper nosy around. I currently have 2 designs in the shop. We will do other ones at different points. So I have a sort of what I'm calling the classic logo, which is just the Model Kit Stuff logo. And then I have one that's a bit more fun and table talk video format related. We might do a go-to one maybe. When the go-to's finished, we might do a go-to one with an image of the go-to on, if I can. I have put a couple of designs in there that got kicked back for various reasons. So I think the complexity of the design could be an issue for them, and nothing that infringes their quite extensive rules around copyright. So there's all sorts of things that we have to think about when we're doing that. But it is open, and it is just one of the many ways you guys can support the channel. So if you like the content that comes out from this channel, and if you enjoy the channel or enjoy the videos, then you can support the channel in many different ways. So let me don't want that to die. Firstly, watching the video supports the channel. It supports the YouTube algorithm. Hitting the like button supports the channel, hits the algorithm. And those are the 2 ways that more people come into finding the channel. Now, the other way, of course, is that if you tend to be interested in modelling topics, then my videos might end up in your little suggestion stream or your search boxes and that sort of stuff. So that's the other way we bring people in. But what you can do to support the channel is tell other your mates who also do modelling about the channel. Just share it so that people know it's there. That's all ways that you can support the channel. Now, the channel is self-financing, so everything that happens on here gets paid for by the channel. How does the funding work? Well, we have videos that run with adverts, and all of those adverts generate, so it comes into the channel. You can also hit super thanks at the bottom of every video and donate to the channel. and all the money doesn't go to my pocket, goes to the channel so that we can buy more kits to review and build and more products to review and use and so on. And now you can buy merchandise from the merch shop. So that's all the ways you can support the channel, from watching it, sharing it, and offering donations or buying merchandise. So yeah, that's where we're up to with that. And with that, I've got some thanks to say to a couple of people that donated just before I went on holiday. So if you do hit the super thanks, I will know about it and I will say thank you to you personally in this video. If you buy merchandise, I don't know. I know that stuff has been bought, but I don't know who's bought it. Unless, of course, like one or two of you have, you send me a video and say, look, I've bought some stuff, I'll let you know how it goes. So I know someone went in and has bought a t-shirt and a mug and a sticker and an apron, I think it was, and that's winging its way to Canada. I know other people have bought stickers, and one or two people have bought t-shirts and mugs. So a massive thank you all for supporting the launch of the merchandise store. Go and have a look if you've not had a look. You now know how to do that. But a massive thank you to Jeffrey7218 for your donation to the channel. Greatly appreciated. We're currently putting that towards buying a tall ship model that I've wanted since I was a kid, and it's been recently re-released. And it's not a cheap model because it's a big scale. It's 1:100 scale. And George364, a massive thank you to you. Both of you have donated before, so thank you massively for those donations. I greatly appreciate it. So what have I been up to since you last saw me on Table Talk? Well, I've told you I've been on holiday, and we'll talk more about that in a minute, but let's talk about what's happened on the modelling bench. So I broke my builds up into 2 weeks. So I focused for 1 week on the Queen Mary 2 and the second week on the Goto, with the exception of one day when I just fancied a break, and I started something else. Anyway, because my weekends have been so busy, which is where I get the bulk of my time, most of my modelling has been happening in the morning. So I get up sort of 6 o'clock most mornings, sometimes 5:30, depending, and it could be 8, 9, 9:30 before anybody else is up. So I get all of that time to do some modelling most mornings when I've not been away. So my modelling time's just moved. So in the grand picture, I've had more time to do modelling than normal. So the first week we focused on Queen Mary 2. She's up on the top of my shelf out of the way at the moment. And I don't want to bring her down because of the delicacy of what's going on here. But we have, on there, we have put more photo etch on. We've put the flags on. We've finished placing the funnel. Done the little glass doors that go over the top. We have progressed the lifeboats, so they're nearly ready for assembly. We've made the little wooden boxes that go along the promenade deck, and we've got to the point where we've finished one of the sports courts with the netting on and on everything like that. We've also put the helipad decal back on, and that seems to have gone okay, or better than it was before, and one or two other little bits. So we're just at the point of finishing the promenade deck. I've got the little fireboxes to do. Then we're doing the railings. They're quite complex because I've got to do life rings and bits and pieces along there. So we've progressed Queen Mary 2 quite nicely. Once the promenade deck is done, it's all the main plastic stuff is done. We're pretty much on railings, and then we're on chairs and tables. So and then on the stern decks, it's the same. It's chairs tables, railings, and some of the falderal that goes around the rear pools there. So there's all sorts of bits and pieces, showers, lights, and stuff like that. So I feel like I'm getting close to the end of Queen Mary 2, which is great for those of you waiting for the Scharnhorst, because she's coming immediately after. So Queen Mary 2, we've progressed really well. Gotha, I am trying to get Gotha done for end of August. I'm probably gonna just miss my self-imposed deadline, and it'll be early September. But I still have some more modelling time in August, so anything is possible. We are currently just finishing the rigging. Yeah, the rigging lines, there's one or two left on here to do, but most of them are already done. I'll take a picture and show you where we're up to. But yeah, that's going really well. So what comes next on the Gotha once we've finished the rigging? Well, we build up the floats. So there's a structure that goes up there, a bit more rigging. Put the floats on, so they need to be built and painted. They're going to be in the same dark wood as the front and rear of the fuselage. Once we've done that, we flip the whole thing back the right way round, mount the fuselage, bit more rigging. I've got a little bit of painting left to do on the fuselage, so the top of the fuselage around the pilot's opening, I've got to do some wood grain on there and then painting the leather. I've got decals to put on there as well, and the clear parts to mount on. Then there's one or two other little bits. So there's like a rear machine gun position to put in. So there's a ring and a stand and the gun to put on. And one or two other little bits, and I think that is then it done. So, propellers, which have not started yet. So they'll be the last things to do, and we want some nice glossy shiny propellers, and there's a little bit of touch up to do and some clear coating. But yeah, she is nearly done, and she's looking stunning. I'm really pleased with how the Gotha's come together. So yeah, I'm hoping with the rigging I've got left that I don't run out of my little eyes and bits for the turnbuckles. I think I'm all right with the eyes, but I might run a little short of the little brass tubes. One or two bits of the rigging that are movable bits of rigging I'm going to do with silver tubes. So we'll have a mix of silver and brass tubes on my turnbuckles, which will give a nice little contrast so you know what's bracing wires and what's control wires. So like I said, there was a day when I went, you know what, I don't fancy doing any more Queen Mary 2 etch, and I don't fancy doing any more rigging, and I just needed a break. So we did a little bit on the Matchbox two French tanks. So we've done the diorama base, and we've built up the body and the turret of one of the little tanks. So 1/76 scale classic Matchbox with a turret that doesn't actually fully rotate because it's slightly oversized. That's the fun of Matchbox though. So yeah, did a little bit of that, knocked that together. That was a couple of hours work with the clean up and stuff and video in it. So that I've started the videos for that. So yeah, and that was a lot of fun, and I just needed a complete break for a day, and then we were back onto doing the rigging. So that's where we've been on the modelling. Where I've been with the holidays is all over the place. So I started full of a cold. There's a scientific research that's been done into this, and it's a fact that when you are about to go on holiday and take a break from work, your body relaxes and all its defences come down and you get something. And it was no different. It happens to me almost every holiday, in fairness. It's a running joke in the family that Oh, he's poorly. We must be going on holiday. So yeah, I had streaming nose. I had ear infection, blocked ear, sore throat, cough, headache, all of that sort of stuff. But it wasn't going to get in the way of my holidays. So my holidays actually started with first weekend away, which was to Oldbourne in Wiltshire, which is the picture postcard village, thatched cottages and all that sort of stuff. A beautiful church and a village green and what have you. And it's where my grandparents lived from 1968 when my grandfather moved, still working in the Navy at that point as a recruitment officer after leaving his active service part of his career. He was a recruiting officer based in Swindon. Oldbourne's just outside of Swindon. So we went there for the weekend, just me and my eldest daughter Daisy. I went with the view of doing some of the walks that I used to do with my grandfather, and just wanted to. I haven't done them for a few years because he was in a nursing home for the last 3 years of his life, and a couple of years before that he couldn't do much more in the way of walking. So the last sort of 5 years we didn't do any of those sort of walks that we always used to do. It must be 7-8 years now since I've done them. So I wanted to do those walks. So that's what we went and did. On the Saturday, we arrived on the Saturday with the intention of doing the walks and then coming back Sunday morning. We were staying over. Well, it was absolutely bucketing down on the Saturday. So how bad was it? This bad.
This is going to be a lovely day, Dave.
Sunday, completely different. Beautiful, cracking the flags, a nice breeze, nice sunshine. So we did it all on the Sunday and went back home later in the day, sort of mid-afternoon. So there was a walk we did called East Lees, which takes us up the road towards up Baden Hill, and then you drop down past some houses and do some footpath tracks through some fields and back. Takes you back into the bottom of the village. So we did that first, a nice walk, and then we did a walk to the Four Barrows. Now the Four Barrows are interesting because they are 4 Viking burial mounds. There's actually 5 of them, but there's 4 together, and then a little bit further on in a separate field there's a 5th. Most people generally walk just to the 4. It's quite a walk, uphill, up a path, but they're also famous because they were in Doctor Who in the 70s when John Pertwee was Doctor Who. And I don't remember this, but I'm told that I watched the filming in the green from my trolley as a youngster. I watched some of the filming. So I think there's 3 episodes of Doctor Who that were filmed in the green at Oldbourne. There's some aliens in the crypt underneath the church, and the Four Barrows feature in it. And the pub in the green, which is called the Blue Boar, was renamed the Cloven Hoof. And we get quite a few visitors to Oldbourne who are Doctor Who fans. So if you pull up in the green, there's a little TARDIS bin there and a Dalek outside one of the pubs, and you get people wanting to walk to the Four Barrows. Some people make it, some people don't. It's a little bit longer than you think. It's just under a mile uphill, but it's if you get there, the views are spectacular, and it's a lovely walk. So that's what we did, and we had lunch in the Cloven Hoof, the Blue Boar, which actually has the Cloven Hoof sign outside, even though it is the Blue Boar, and that's a pub that's 400 years old. The other thing that's special about Oldbourne is it's where the 1st Airborne Division was based prior to D-Day, so we get Americans going over there in June and reenactors and stuff, and there's always something going on. A number of people from the 1st Airborne veterans go over there. And at some point, the 1st Airborne Division purchased the barn that they were all staying in, sleeping in Oldbourne before they went off on D-Day, and relocated it to the States. So it's part of the 1st Airborne Division's museum, is my understanding. But yeah, they bought it, took it down, flew it to the States, re-erected it. So yeah, Oldbourne's special place for me personally. It was really nice to get some of those walks done, and Daisy and I had a good time. I was able to share some of my memories with my daughter. So yeah, it was really nice. That was weekend number 1.
So here we are, the 4 Barrows of Oldbourne. There's actually 5 of them. Viking burial grounds and of Doctor Who fame, John Pertwee in the 1970s.
Second weekend, my eldest daughter Daisy went to Norway to visit her boyfriend, with a mum and a stepsister, and then me, Paula, and Alice, my youngest daughter, we went away to Flamborough Head and spent a few days in a caravan on a campsite just south of Scarborough. Now, Scarborough is somewhere I love. It's a great place. We went there on family holidays several times when I was a youngster. Lots of memories for me. Alice loves arcades, and there's a whole front of arcades in Scarborough. And Paula enjoys Scarborough too, so we did that. So we went up on the Friday, then sort of got settled in and that sort of stuff. Then on the Saturday, we spent a day in Scarborough, and hit the arcades and had some fun and had lunch there and what have you. And if you're ever going to Scarborough, I can't recommend enough the park and ride. It's really, really good. It's about 20 minutes outside of Scarborough on the bus. The bus gets into Scarborough a lot quicker because there's loads of bus lanes and the traffic's quite heavy getting into Scarborough. It stops right on the end of the promenade, so you get the full length of the promenade to walk, and it takes you back. It costs next to nothing, free parking there. It's just really simple. So park and ride's the way to go if you go to Scarborough, definitely. Then on the Sunday we went for a walk, all day walk. We walked up to the new lighthouse at Farnborough Head. You know, it's a couple of 100 years old, but it's newer than the old one that's 400 years old, which is just a bit further down. And you know, we had an ice cream and sat there for a bit, and then we walked back and had fish and chips and all of that good stuff. And then the following day we headed back, and we went to Bridlington, and then we carried on home. So we had a really enjoyable weekend. Alice enjoyed herself. It's the first time she'd been away without a sister, so that was interesting. But yeah, we had a nice relax, and that was the start of my 2 weeks off. The Oldbourne weekend had been the weekend before that. And then this weekend that's just gone, Paula and I went away on our own, and we went to Pickering in Yorkshire, not far from where we'd been the weekend before, in fairness. But what's at Pickering? Well, there's a steam railway at Pickering. Take a look at this. So it's the North Yorkshire Moors Railway that's been running since about 1968, something like that, 50 years, reopened a couple of years after all the railway lines were, regional railway lines, or lots of them got closed in 65. They closed loads of, I forget the name of the guy's quite famous for axing all these lines, and this one was brought back, and they have some historic diesels running, but mainly historic steam. So in historic carriages, and the stations are maintained with a different period time for each station. So Pickering is Victorian, and then there's others along the line, so from the 50s and so on, and they're all done in a different style, and the restaurants or cafes on there are in a different style, and it was a lot of fun. So we spent the whole day doing that. So we'd driven up, and Pickering itself was a really nice place. We stopped in a hotel, and we could walk into Pickering from there, and we found a spectacular eating fish and chip shop. And the next day we were going to eat in the hotel. The hotel is new, and the restaurant just couldn't cope with the capacity of people. So we ended up back in that fish and chip shop. We looked at pubs and various other things. We ended up back in the chip shop. So we had fish and chips 2 days on the run. So that was that. And then after that, we went to Castle Howard. So that was the last thing we did on the way home. We did Castle Howard and then carried on our journey. And Castle Howard was absolutely stunning. If you've never heard of Castle Howard, it's not a national. I'm a member of the National Trust, so it's not a National Trust property. So we had to pay to get in. But the family, the Howard family, is Catherine Howard, Henry VIII's wife, the one that died, related to them. So this is a family home that they built 200-300 years ago. Famously had a big fire in the 1940s. It was a school for refugees in the 1940s, and it caught fire, and the centre section of the house burnt down. It's the only stately home in the UK with a dome. It looks like St Paul's Cathedral. That came down. So they're still in the process of rebuilding the house from 1940. So there's still some rooms they've not done, and you can still see fire damage in some of the rooms in the Great Hall and stuff. But they put the dome back on and things, and it's stunning, as are the gardens. British Rail diesel. Yeah. Right, so the other one arrived at 13. So really nice weekend. And then this weekend, you're watching this today on the Saturday, the 26th of August. That's my birthday. I am 53 today. So this weekend is taken up with my birthday stuff. So today, as you're watching this, we're actually getting ready for going out. We're going for a walk, taking a picnic. I like my walking, so we're doing that for the day. We had on yesterday. I had a modelling night, and my video went out night before. We'd had a movie night, and we get some treats, sit down, put a Netflix on, or a Paramount movie on, or something like that. Have a movie night. And tomorrow we're all going off to the zoo. Got my granddaughter for the day, so we're going to Blackpool Zoo, which is a great little zoo. You can get up close to the animals, which you can't do at the other zoo we tend to go to, Chester. You quite often just don't see the animals. So we're going to Blackpool Zoo, so that was something on the bucket list for this summer holidays with my daughters. So that'll be a nice day as well. And then bank holiday Monday, I am sitting here all day and working on that goater. That's what I'm doing. So nice chilled out time. Garden, well, we've eaten tomatoes and they taste amazing. So let's have a very, very brief look at the garden because I'm in the process of tidying it up. I'm only joking. That's not the garden that I show you. That's the front. No, it's not the front garden. That's Castle Howard. Isn't it stunning? Absolutely beautiful gardens. If you've never been and you live in this country or you're ever visiting the country, I can't recommend it enough. It's a really, really nice day. This is my tomatoes, however. So you're probably wondering what's coming up, and well, let's talk about that, shall we? So we've got, like I say, 4 weeks worth of videos pretty much in the can, but on the desk, we're focused on the Gotha, and I'm focused on getting that finished now. We're so close that I'm going to push on with that and get it over the line. I'm still doing a week of Gotha and a week of Queen Mary 2, so I've got enough material to be putting them out alternate Friday nights, but I'm having a real push. I want to try and get this finished by the end of the month. I'm not going to rush it though, so if it goes into the first week of September or so be it. That's what it needs. So we're carrying on with that. We're carrying on with Queen Mary 2. We've already talked about that. And then we've got the Beaufort Mark 1 that's coming straight after this. I'm going to be building that using the new ICM paint system that I bought into recently, that we did some videos on. I want to see how the model comes out doing that. So yeah, we're going to build that. It was the new tool, 2021 new tool, so it should be a nice build. Something complete change of pace, no photo etch, no rigging, so a complete change of pace, nice little kit. I have said I want to get some volume out, do some smaller kits, and then after that we've got the Matchbox kit that I started on holiday. So that's what's happening with the builds. What happens after that, I don't know. I'd like to hope it's the Morris Beaufort, but it depends on a couple of my buddies and whether they're up for building it at the same time. If not, we'll do another small build and chuck a small build out. On HMS Fly, we're still doing the second planking. I've progressed it a little, but we're not quite ready. What I'm trying to do is get the second planking done and then start doing some more video material, so that in the winter we can start chucking it out. So what I'm going to start doing is one of the Wednesdays when I do a first impressions video, we'll do wooden ships, and it might become 2 Wednesdays a month. I don't know. The first impressions will slow down because I'm running out of kits. I have been having a chat with someone about a way of putting 1 or 2 other kits into the mix, but I still have 1 or 2 pre-orders. So at this time I haven't got the ferret from Airfix yet. Haven't got the new Sea King 148 Sea King from Airfix yet, so those are my two outstandings. I've been my friend Peter Oxley did a beautiful review of the Armour Hobbies Hurricane, which persuaded me to dip into there. So I bought a couple of their kits, a Hurricane that's been released at the end of the month, and another kit. So they're on pre-order, should land with me anytime. We're nearly at the point of buying the Hella Sol Royale, which we've been group funding with the Super Thanks. So that's at the point of being purchased. So we've got some more kits coming along for the first impressions. I've got one or two left in the attic stash to go through. So we have got more stuff. We're probably getting towards Christmas before we need to start mixing things up. So HMS Fly, I'm trying to get ready so that at Christmas we can start building it and getting some more content out and get past this tedious second planking. So that's where we are with HMS Fly and one or two other purchases. And we've got, so that's sort of where we are with that. And then we've got the Scharnhorst. So put a new trailer out over the 2 weeks. Scharnhorst will be here in the winter. Queen Mary 2 is not that far off. And when she is finished, we're going straight into the Queen Mary 2. The hull is primed with its first prime, the what I call the marking up prime. So it's been primed in white so I can mark up alterations and changes that I need to make, the scratch building element that kicks off the build. So that's done and ready to go. I've got all my paints. I can't get the enamel paint for the steel decks and the boot line. I have got some, but I suspect I've not got enough. So I've got enough enamel to do the hull, to do the boot line, but it's a different grey than the dark grey that's used as the rest of the Pettibone 1943 scheme. So I bought the Life Colour acrylic, which is my go-to acrylic for model ships, and I bought that. It's a nice colour match. Actually, I didn't think it was at first, but having played with it, it is. So I've got all the paints. I've got everything I need for that now. So we're all set up and ready to go. So as soon as Queen Mary 2's finished, you'll see Scharnhorst on the desk. The biggest headache I'm going to have with that is filming what I do. I'm going to have to do some multi-angle filming, which limits when I can do it. I can't do it on a Sunday when we've got the granddaughter, for example, and there's people milling around. It's really a quiet time early in the morning stuff. So yeah, looking forward to getting stuck into the Scharnhorst. Everyone's saying, oh, this is going to be a massive build. You'll be surprised. Yeah, it's very involved, and I'm probably underestimating because I have a tendency to do that. But it's not going to be too difficult to paint it. It's not like doing some other ships where you've got lots of different colours going on. It's basically all dark grey, so we can build up sub-assemblies and paint them, glue them together fairly rapidly. So yeah, should be fun anyway. So that's what's happening with the builds. What's happening with the videos? Well, following on from the Tamiya SDKFZ 222 video, a lot of people saying, oh yeah, I built that many years ago. We've got on Monday we're going to look at some resin and some etch for it, and then somewhere in that week, I've not filmed it yet, I've got the nuts and bolts book for it as well, so we'll have a quick review of that, and then that completes that little trio of videos. So you go from the basic kit to the upgrades to the research over 3 different videos. So we've got that coming up, just check that, and then we're on Queen Mary 227 on the Friday. Now on the Wednesday, if it comes, we'll have the Sea King. If not, we will have the Bentley, because that's already filmed and loaded up. So that's the Airfix 112 classic Bentley. It's a really interesting video. So yeah, we've got that coming up. Yeah, Queen Mary 27, and then I've got a quick tips video on masking, cheap and easy, quick way of doing masking without having to use too much expensive masking tape. Then that gets us on to, so that Wednesday, if we get the Sea King, that Wednesday will be the Bentley, and then go to 12. So that's what's coming up. So it depends. As soon as I get the Sea King, I'll film it and we'll slot it in on the nearest Wednesday. It's had a load of reviews because Airfix have given it to some channels, which is very nice of them. I will be giving you an unencumbered by I was given this model for free and feel slightly obliged. Even if you say I'm going to give you an honest view, psychologically you're going, oh, I won't be too hard on them. So I will give you my honest view, as I always do in my first impressions video, because I paid for it myself, and if I think it's a pile of poo, I can say it is. Don't believe for a minute that it will be, but I haven't watched anyone else's reviews because I don't want to focus on things that other people have said. It's terrible because there's so many spoilers out there, not least Nigel's modelling bench, and he's building it, and I really want to watch the build, but I haven't reviewed the kit yet, so I ain't gonna do it. So I'm sure some people know all sorts of stuff about this kit already before I've even looked at it. But you know, I will give you my honest review of the kit when it comes out. So that's where we're up to. There you go, that's where we're up to. Thank you everyone for supporting the channel, all of my subscribers. I think you're all stars. You make this what this is, and I enjoy it because of you guys. So thank you very much. You enjoy your modelling. Have a great week. I will see you very soon on the next build and the next table talk. Bye for now.